And today on Are You Bored? We're going to be taking a quick review of Viticulture. Now, Viticulture is a worker placement game from StoneMaier Games. Now, I think anyone who knows anything about board games will know how high the quality of board games when it comes to StoneMaier Games. They really are top producers of board games. And this game is no exception. In fact, Viticulture is seen by most fans of board games as one of the best board games ever. And if it's not in the top one of their board games, you can bet it's in the top 3, 4 or 5. It is that popular. Viticulture is a worker placement game. That means that you place your workers at certain parts of the board to make resources to help you win the game. Now, what we've also got on this, we've got cards, and those cards factor in a little bit of luck, which is fair enough, not too much luck, that the game doesn't have strategy. It has tons of strategy, but the cards just make it so no game is entirely the same twice. It just gives it that little bit of freshness that you're turning over cards, you're not sure what you're going to get exactly. So you've still got the strategy in place, but with those cards, you've just got that little twist where you could be something that can really go in your favour one way or another way. Now, there's the track there, you can see it, 5, 10 and all that. Now, that's how you win the game, because you want to be moving up that track. You're getting points, and once you've passed 20, 25, that's where you won the game. Now, here, this is the player's placement card. Everyone has one of these, and as you can see, showing those things off, those are things that you can buy to help you gain your points. Fantastic quality of components here. They were playing with one of the little glass things. Fantastic these are. They're used for so many things in the game. These are your cellars. These are the things that you can buy if you want to be making the top wines, because Viticulture is, after all, a wine making game. You need all these cellars to hold more wines in there to make more profit. Now, these cards are the players' fields. I mean, you can actually sell them as well for get more money, because you need money in this game for buy all the things that you need to produce your wines. But without these fields, you're not going to be growing any grapes, so you do need so many of the fields. Now, you've got things here that will help you to grow certain grapes. Certain grapes will need trellises, stuff like that. I've already mentioned before the cellars. See, this is how you have to get a red and a white wine and mix them in a bigger cellar, and that will get you a different type of wine for fulfilling orders. Now, this cockerel here, this comes into play, especially so in the one-player game. It's a fantastic one-player game as well as a 5-player game. Now, these are your Mamas and Papas card. These weren't in the first edition of Viticulture, but they are in this one, the Essential Edition. And basically, you flip these over, your Mamas, you'll have one Mamas and one Papas card that you'll choose. You flip it over and it'll tell you what you're starting with. You've got 2 workers on this one, and you can also have yellow and 2 blue cards. Now, here is the Autonomy deck. That means solo play, and as you can see here, you just flip this over and the deck will play against you, stopping you from picking what you want to pick. It does very well in making out like it is another player that's trying to spoil your turn. So basically, there we've put our turn, yellow we're playing as, we've picked that we want to build a structure. Now, if it was the autonomous turn and it said put blue, that's the autonomy, we'll say for for sake of this review. That was to go in that. We couldn't then put our yellow in place, so that's how it would spoil things. Now, we're coming to the decks. Basically, we're showing you here the various things that we've got, that you'll be flipping over these cards and using them to your advantage, or at least hoping that you can use them to your advantage and the strategy that you're going to play. Obviously, if they're not working out for that strategy, you're going to have to change your strategy a bit. Now, going back to this board again, showing it in a bit more detail, some of the workers in place there. I mean, this board is fantastic. It's like an old-fashioned oil painting. You could almost imagine the people in it having a life of their own. The detail, it's great. It's wonderful artwork. It really is. I think this board game has one of the best artworks on any board game ever. So this is the track now where it's showing you spring, summer, fall and winter. And basically you can just follow that really, and the rules are there more or less to the side. So it lets you know when for use your players, or your workers I should say, when to put them into play. And then the choices are of yours when you want to do that. Now, we're going back here now, like we've got the blue here. We're saying that's like the autonomous player. You can't play against that unless you use your grande worker. You've just got one of them. And that means that even if that blue worker has took up that space, the yellow can go in there as well with his grande worker. But you've only got one of them, so you've got to use it sparingly. So once again, that's where tactics come in. So we're in like summer here. So basically, you're making, as they say, make hay while you can in the summertime. This is where you plan, where you're going to put your workers. But you don't want to use them all in the summertime. You've got to think about the winter, because basically if you use all your workers in the summer and you can't put any workers in the winter, well, there's not a lot you can do. It's going to be a bit lopsided. So you've got to use your workers sparingly and in the right way. Once again, looking at the fantastic components there. Back to the player board now. As you can see how these components come into play. Once again, looking at the boards, making your grapes. That's how you combine them. The instruction books in here, they're brilliant. It's such a game. You can't be overwhelmed by it. Having a quick look at the cards now. These are some of the cards where, as you can see, the bonus things that you can get that can help you to win the game. These little bonus things that can push you over that finish line. So, yeah, there's quite a few to choose from there. So, no one game's going to be the same. Grape cards, these are the grapes that you can get. And we hope you've enjoyed this edition of Are You Bored? Check out Viticulture in the shops.